Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Peak Season Podcast, the show where we get double booked half as much. How's it going, Tyler?
Doing good, Luke. Doing good. I'm excited about today's episode.
Yeah, me too, man. So today we're going to do a deep dive into our PMS of choice, which is, of course, Hospitable. And Tyler is actually going to share his screen and show us some of his favorite settings. And we'll just do a deep dive on how we've got it all set up, some of our favorite features. And this isn't a sales pitch, but hopefully for you, those of you that are just getting started, it'll help you out a little bit. So without further ado, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you can check out the screen share there. Otherwise, we'll try and narrate through the audio version of it as best we can. But Tyler, you want to go ahead and share your screen, and we'll get
Yeah,
started?
yeah, absolutely. Screen. Here we go. All right, everyone. So I think one of the first things I like to talk through is first and foremost just the guest experience tab. So this tab has a lot of information and may seem overwhelming, but it's not that difficult. And I really start here with the messaging rules. And so you'll see you can even break down your messaging rules to before booking, before check-in, staying, and after checkout. I personally just go to my full list of messaging rules here. Here you can see the status. So if you see it lit as green, that means it's active. If you see it grayed out, that means I don't have it active at the time. So I have some different messaging and you can name these however you want. So here you see I have new booking inquiry White Birch Cabin direct versus new booking inquiry White Birch Cabin non-direct. So your non-direct are of course your Airbnb, Verbo. Your direct is your main booking platform, your own booking platform. So one of the things that I like about this is again just being able to rename these and then kind of use what I think is helpful. And this has really helped me in a lot of different ways, especially, and I'm just going to use this one as an example. So, Luke, I think you have a generator at the property. Yours is a bit lower level, right? But mine kind of sits right outside the master bedroom at White Birch. And so I just like to give people a heads up that, hey, every Wednesday around 2 o'clock, that generator is going to complete a self test. And hey, there's nothing you need to do, but just wanted to make you aware that if you hear some noise running outside, that's what it is. What's nice about this is I'm able to time this and I send this message every Wednesday at 12 during a guest stay. So obviously, if there's no guest there, then they're not going to get this message. But if a guest is staying Monday through Thursday, then Wednesday at noon, that is going to kick off and that is going to send a message to them. And I can't tell you how many people actually reply just saying, like, thanks for the heads up, appreciate it. Or I thought I heard it. So that's really nice. I'll tell you another good one that I use. You'll see these off right now, but these, we've talked about these in some prior episodes, but like, up north by the lake, guess what? There's mayfly season and there's fruit fly season. And when I first started experiencing mayflies, I'm like, man, I really better have something set up. And I kind of want to forewarn the guests that they may experience them. We never know when mayflies are going to exactly come and set, right? But I would rather be proactive in communicating this versus reactive and then show up and like, what the heck? What are all these flies at the area? So it's really an opportunity to just A, still get them excited, but B, help them understand what mayflies are. So here I kind of put it's an indicator of a healthy lake ecosystem. And here's some helpful tips to keep them outside where they belong. And I send that 3 days before check-in. So again, not sending it right now because it's not applicable right now in the winter, but I have these set up. And I just, if I need to turn it on, I just click this and bam, it's on. And then it's scheduled for the future stays.
That's really cool. Tyler, so one of the things I want to point out while we're looking at this screen is so
Yeah.
you've only got one property in your hospitable account, but
Yeah.
once you have multiple, it's really, really helpful to kind of like along the right side, right where you're, where it says like all, or there's these pictures of the different properties.
Yep.
It's really, really helpful when you're onboarding a new property. So I might have a couple different messages that are property specific, but some of them pertain to all the properties. So you can
Hmm.
go in there and at a glance, you can see which messages are going to every single one, which ones are property specific. So when I'm
Yep.
onboarding a new property, I probably only have to generate 2 or 3 messages that are just for that property, and the rest are selected for all. And that is extremely helpful. And you don't get that in a lot of other PMSs, to where you at a glance you can just see exactly what messages are going to what properties and the ease of onboarding.
Yeah. Very good point. Similarly, you saw some of my messages where I said direct or non-direct. So if it's non-direct, then my Airbnb and Verbo are just check marked. And if it's direct only, then it's just my direct that's checked and these are unchecked. So another way to, if you have separate messaging for different platforms that you're using for booking platforms, then you can just easily click those as well. I want to kind of go down into some the review rules. The review rules are nice, and I just honestly, Luke, I just turned this one on. I hadn't been using it because I've been pretty much reviewing the guest manually. But Hospitable has a great way, and you can choose multiple ones. You can set these up, but I put in here again when you have these short codes. So this is basically going to pull in. This short code is going to pull in that guest name. So it's going to say, if the guest was Timothy, it's going to say Timothy was a pleasure to host. Timothy and their group were respectful and abided by our home rules and kept our new cabin in wonderful condition. I'd recommend Timothy to anyone to any future hosts. And I have this to send out a day after checkout. Why did I put it at a day? Well, because if Timothy was a terrible guest and trashed my place, I'm going to remove that before I leave that review, and I'm going to manually leave a review. But you do have that ability to set up reviews and set up some canned reviews. So truly can be pretty automated without you having to physically go in and leave a review manually for each guest. Any other points on that one, Luke?
Yeah, their review system is really, really good, and I love that there's AI built into it. A lot of times, depending on your plan, you can have it be a little more customized. And then I also really appreciate that it has, I don't know if it's automatic. I have it set to not be automatic if it is, where
Yeah.
it will respond to the guest review.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like that within Hospitable, it'll generate a public response. And then I have the choice whether or not to submit that or tweak it a little bit. Usually I end up changing the language just a little bit, but it gives me a good starter for a public response.
You probably use this next one, Luke, maybe more than I do. I don't have any of these set to active right specifically now, but and honestly, I haven't played with too much of this, but maybe I don't know if you have one set up for like the hot tub or whatnot. I thought about adding one here for the barrel sauna, right? But this questions enhanced communication by adding automated replies to AI detected questions. So if it was something about the barrel sauna or something about your hot tub or something about the beach. So if they were asking questions about the beach, you could put in a canned response here. So you can see here, I do have one in here for it's not active, but it's it's regarding discounts. And so if I could tag things to where if it was talking about a discount, then it could trigger this if I turn this on to talk about rather than setting artificially higher rates with room built in offer discounts, we prefer upfront and set our rates at the minimum onset. We believe that our rates are competitive for the size, location, amenities of this property. We also believe it's a great value for you, blah, blah, blah. So you do have the ability to auto generate questions and let AI detect based off of certain keywords. Any
Yeah,
other
I'm actually
points
not.
on that?
Yeah, I actually don't use any of those right now. I'm
Yeah.
considering giving it a shot, but right now I use HostBuddy for a lot of
Yeah.
the AI
Yeah.
components of it.
Yeah. I know you were using Host Buddy. I would be interested. I may try to set one of these up, even if it's like fireplace. I don't know. Sometimes people have questions about the fireplace, and that's not a dramatic one. I think it's just trusting the AI that it's going to pick up correctly. That's, I think, probably my biggest concern. Why I've still hesitated a little bit, but honestly, AI has been pretty darn good on Hospitable. So I probably need to lean in and trust it a little bit more. Really wanted to hit this custom codes. If you aren't using these custom codes, I would highly recommend. It will be a nice little time saver for you guys or versus some canned things. So I want to talk through, and I'm just going to show an example of these two. The days before check-in is available and the day before check-in is not available. And so here I have this custom code, which is the day before check-in is available. And here we can see the condition is the night before check-in is available. I guess I could say the night before instead of the day before just to match it, but I know what it is. But here I want to let you know that we have the night before your current check-in date available. If you'd like to start your vacation a bit earlier, we'd gladly provide a 30% discount for that night. If you'd like to do so, just let me know and I can revise your reservation. Right? Versus the night before is not available. I say, please note at this time, I cannot accommodate an early check-in. Right. In addition, I have some other things here. But here in my messaging rules, I'm going to go back up here to my messaging rules and I'm going to go to my check-in instructions because this is where where I added those codes to. So here you can see these are the codes. So this is the day before check-in is available, and if the day before check-in is not available, then I have it down here. So what does that look like for your guests? So I popped open this. Let me see if it's not going to I want to pop open this Word document real quick. Well, shoot, I don't think it's going to let me.
I think you
Yeah,
can preview
yeah,
right from that screen, Tyler.
yeah, it's going now. Can you see this? Perfect. So this one was one where I had a prior guest in September. The night wasn't available because we had same day turnovers. So it's talking about, hey, welcoming them, reminding them of their check-in. And then here you see that code because the night before was not available. So it just says, hey, I cannot accommodate an early check-in. Whereas this one that's coming up in January, as of right now, I do have the day before available. So if this were to go off today, it's going to again have that code in there to say, hey, we have that night before. Also, if you want to start your vacation a bit earlier, I'll provide a discount for that night. So I just wanted to show that and how easy it is to add those. And what's nice about this is then because before Luke, I just always had this, please note I cannot accommodate an early check-in. And I was kind of looking at the upsells a bit, but that was just upselling like an hour check-in early or 2 hours early. But even if I offer a 20 or 30% discount the night before, that's way more than I'm going to make trying to do an upsell of an hour or two before their 4 p.m. check-in time. So I just recently created these short codes and added them in there to see. And I actually already did get one person who, I don't know, I guess it was probably 2 days ago that took us up on the additional night, which was an additional like $500, even with the discount. So I'll take that all day, every day.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I actually A/B tested one time where I was going to put those codes and how I was going to word it. And I did find that having its own message converted higher where it wasn't buried into another message.
Got it.
And then I also found that instead of specifying an amount, I would just say at a steep discount
Yeah, I like that.
because what they would then do is be like, well, what is it? Because if it's like it's $20, of course I'll take it, right?
Yeah.
Once they got into that back and forth with you, they were a little more committed. They had more skin in the game towards it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So And I would kind of modify it seasonally based on what it was worth to me, whether I thought it would book, whether or not it was going to put me into a same day turn or not.
Yeah,
So if the property was going to be cleaned well in advance, and I would actually let it go a little bit cheaper because the same day turn is kind of stressful for us and the cleaners. So that's a higher value thing. But of course, it's also more work for me to actually have to respond
yeah,
and give them a price. But I did sell a lot more of those when I just said, hey, I can offer it to you at a steep discount. Or if you'd like to check in extra early, I can block the previous night and I can give you an excellent rate on that.
exactly. No, I'd say for our listeners, play with it. See what may work best for you. To your point, A/B test it and try some different variations and see if you're getting any bites over one message versus the other. It doesn't hurt you in any form or fashion.
For
So
sure.
I may take you up on that and try that. Anything else you want to point out on guest experience before we go to operations?
Let me take a look. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So in operations, some of the things I wanted to talk through here are teammates. So you'll see here, I have my teammate Tammy, who is, you know, our main cleaner. And when I've added Tammy, and I'm not going to click into this because it's got contact info, but I added her email and I added her phone, and I wanted to just point that out, right? Because then I have some task rules set up. I have the cleaning task 15 minutes after checkout, just a reminder that the property's ready. And then I have these notification rules. And what's nice here is you can notify certain people. So Tammy's a part of my cleaning crew. And what's nice here is I'm able to just send her a text. I don't know about you, but I don't check my emails near as often as I check my phone, like a text message. So whether I get a new reservation or maybe an altered reservation, maybe somebody took me up on that night before or something of that nature, then it's going to show that update to her. It's going to push it to her phone. Same if I get it canceled, it's going to send it to her. I love this because I don't know about you, but Tammy is so good at like very quickly responding and acknowledging or saying cleaning confirmed for X date. And I think a lot of that has to do with just being able to have things sent to her via text versus just everything via email.
yeah. So I use the exact same system, except for I have this layered on top of Turno.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Tammy gets a text from Hospitable in this case, and or at least for Tammy's setup. So she gets a text from Hospitable, and then that she probably gets a Turno alert right around the same time. And then when she accepts the clean, she accepts it in Turno.
Yeah.
So she doesn't ever text me back. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and you can see here, you can just activate your turnout right here, which again, I probably should just go ahead and start using. As you mentioned, it's definitely an easier thing to do. Next thing, just kind of keeping cognizant of the time, I really wanted to talk through connected, devices. So I use Hospitable for two devices. That is my Slage on code and then my Ecobee. I just connected to Ecobee about a month or so ago, and I can tell you I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So what is nice here, again, we see our connected accounts here. We can go into our settings. So if we look here at smart locks, so once we've connected, we can choose our code format. So here I said versus a random number, I'm going to use the guest phone number. So basically their last four digits of their phone number, because let's be honest, everybody pretty much knows the last four of their phone number. Are they going to remember a random number that you generate? Probably not. Again, looking at guest experience, I think this is the best. When should it become active? Again, I have this set for 15 minutes before check-in. When should it expire? I have it set for an hour after checkout. I do have some backup codes available if for some reason it's not working. And then I also have a push notification when the battery's running low or when the guest uses their code for the first time. Again, you don't have to do this. If you wanted to remove this off, you could. I just like to know once the guests are there. So again, very, very great. I don't know, very intuitive in my mind. I really enjoy it. Thermostats, same thing. This setting, it allows the guest to control the thermostat during their stay. I'm not gonna force a guest not to be able to turn up or down the heat. And if for some reason it goes offline, it's gonna notify me. Again, I love that part.
Can you
And then
set upper or lower limits through Hospitable? I'm not
you
using the thermostat
can.
preset.
So
Okay,
on this
beautiful.
page here is where we have that setting. So you can see here, basically the two main ones I have right now are occupied, unoccupied. There's a long-term unoccupied, but I don't really use that too much. Occupied is just that, right? Means the property's booked, and when it's booked, I set my heat to 67. If I wanted to set it, let's say April, May comes, Luke, I'll go in and probably update this and I'll change this to heat and cool and I'll set an upper limit on both the heat and the cooling, right? You can see in my unoccupied, I actually did do that. So I put heat and cool, and then I was able to say, hey, if it's unoccupied, keep the place heated to 56, keep it cool to 84. And then I can go in and change this. You can see the preset types. So again, this is the unoccupied, but if I go back here to the occupied, I can even set this. So I have it set at 3 hours before check-in. You can set it as many hours as you want, or you can set it minutes. You don't have to do, you don't have to do anything crazy. I think I put it to 3 just because it's getting real cold and it may take some time to heat it up, but you can change these settings as you see. One recommendation I would have is just to maybe monitor it the first time you're setting this to see, if it's really cold and you have it set, like, did it heat up to 67 degrees in an hour? Did it do it in 2 hours? You know, I honestly, I am gonna change this because I do know that in 2 hours, my property does get set. So versus kicking on an hour ahead of time and charging me money, I'm going
Right.
to set it for 2 hours. So I just went ahead and saved that now, and now it's, gonna kick on 2 hours before the guests are super nice. Love this setting. Again, the dashboard's great. We can see when things are turning on, when smart locks are activated, so on and so forth. I'm gonna take it off that just because it had names on it, but, so devices, super helpful. Great great use if you have the Slage, if you on code or any of those devices, or you have an Ecobee. I can't remember, Luke, which all thermostats they do. I feel like there was one other than the Ecobee that they rolled
Yeah,
out
it's
recently.
Honeywell.
Honeywell. There you go. Okay.
Yep. So the connected Honeywells and the connected, I think all the Ecobees are connected, but Honeywell
Yeah.
has some pretty basic ones. So they've got a full
Yep.
array.
Yep.
Because I'm looking, I need to upgrade one. Actually, I need to upgrade two to have them all be connected, and that's definitely something I would take advantage of.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that with a Michigan winter, that could probably pay for your entire year of hospitable right there.
Right.
So
Exactly.
if you're not staying on top of it yourself, which I have a difficulty doing, um, to be
What
that precise with it anyway.
And what I was telling you in prior years, and even up to what the last, what I say, month and a half when I activated this, I think it cost $5 to add this. I was going in when I get a new booking, I would put an Outlook reminder to turn up the heat a couple hours before they came, and then I would put a reminder to turn it down after they left. That's kind of a pain. Remembering when to do that or remembering to put it in Outlook is a pain. And I will tell you, I've had, knock on wood, no issues with this working as it should and holding the heat where it's supposed to, or turning down and having these settings set, for example, on occupied. If I go to my Ecobee right now, it shows 56. So it works like a champ. I love it.
One thing I like about the hospitable integrations with these is, so like the Schlag integration, it works better on hospitable than it does with Schlag.
Yeah.
So the interface is easier to use. So if I have a handyman going to the house and I have to make him a code real quick, I don't go to Schlag, I go to hospitable and I make the code a hospitable,
Yeah.
because it's that much easier. And then I also like that whenever I modify a reservation, I can,
Yes.
so if I give somebody a 5-hour early check-in for whatever reason, I just click the little down arrow and change their reservation time, and it automatically updates the lock,
Yep.
which,
Yeah. And
believe it
it'll
or not,
update
is
it
not,
at
that
15
doesn't
minutes.
happen with other,
Yeah.
right. Yep. So
So
that doesn't happen with other PMSs, and they don't
no.
integrate that seamlessly with Schlag, at least from my experience.
Yeah. And just for our listeners, so again, Luke said, let's say he allowed them to check in early, say 3 hours early. Well, here in the settings, I have it set to become active 15 minutes before check-in. Well, if you go in hospitable and you've updated that guest check-in to, let's say, 1 p.m. versus 4 p.m., then it's going to activate at 12 in this example, 12:45. Right? Because it's going to activate 15 minutes before check-in. So at 12:45, their code is going to be active. I don't have to go into my Slage app and update that manually. It's automatically going to do it through Hospitable, which is so nice. I think those are the main things I wanted to talk through. Luke, anything else on the top of your mind that you wanted me to explore or to maybe highlight a little bit more from Hospitable?
No, I don't think so. I think we could do a whole nother episode probably on
Oh,
hospitable
yeah.
features, but I think that's probably good for one episode.
Yeah. And then
Especially today, we touched a lot of the guest facing stuff, so the messages and the locks and the thermostats and things like that. And I think maybe another episode we can get more into the back end or the AI or
yeah.
into the metrics and just things like that.
No, I love it. I love it. No, I hope everyone found some value here, some tips and tricks. If you have questions, don't hesitate to give us a comment, on our YouTube channel or reach out to us at Upstream Vacations on Facebook. We're happy to help out and answer anything or maybe guide you through some of these setups.
All right. Well, we hope you got something out of this episode of the Peak Season Podcast. And as always, we'd appreciate a like, subscribe, 5-star review from you if you got any value out of this. If you have any questions for us about Hospitable or something you'd like to see us cover, go ahead and shoot us a message on any of those platforms, and we would gladly do that for you. Everybody take care, and Tyler,
Enjoy the peak.
all right, everybody, catch you in the peak season.